So we all want our kids to be money smart, right? But when do you even start that conversation? Well, the answer might be a lot sooner than you think. In this explainer, we're going to break down the essential money mindsets you need to teach your child before it's too late.
So why the big rush? Well, it's because there's this surprisingly small window of opportunity to build a really healthy financial foundation. And look, this isn't about busting out spreadsheets or teaching them about the stock market. Not yet, anyway. This is about the core habits and attitudes that form when they're really young and they stick for life.
Okay, so here's a number that should really make your ears perk up. Research shows that a child's core money habits, they are pretty much set by age 7. Yeah, you heard that right, 7. That means the clock is already ticking, and what we teach them now, that's the stuff that's going to stick with them for the rest of their lives. I know, that can feel a little daunting, right? But hey, don't panic. You don't have to be some kind of Wall Street genius to do this. It's really just about starting simple, consistent conversations. The big question is, where do you even begin?
So, to make this super easy, we've broken it down for you. We're going to start with the why of money, then get into the practical how, peek into the growth of money, and then we'll wrap it all up with the big takeaway for you. Okay, let's dive right in. First up, the why. See, before we get into the nitty-gritty of managing money, kids have got to understand what's the point of it all. This is all about building that foundational mindset.
This first pillar is absolutely crucial. We have to teach them that money is just a tool. It's not the ultimate prize. Its real purpose is to help us do things that actually matter. You know, like saving up for a cool experience, paying for school, or helping out people who need it. It's all about what the money can do, not just about having a pile of it. Okay, this next one might surprise you, but it's all about generosity. When we teach kids to give a little bit of their money away, we're doing more than just teaching them to be charitable. You're basically hardwiring this idea into their brain that says, I have enough to share. And that is the ultimate weapon against a scarcity mindset, that constant fear of never having enough.
And you know what that leads to? Contentment. I mean, let's be real. In a world where everyone's posting their perfect vacation on Instagram, it's so easy to get caught in that comparison game. Teaching kids to be grateful for what they already have, well, it helps them make choices from a place of, I'm good, not, I need more to keep up.
All right, so we've got the why down. We've built the foundation. Now, how do we actually put this stuff into practice? That brings us to our next section, the how of money. This is where we get into the nuts and bolts of earning and spending. Okay, this is a huge one for a lot of parents. Think about ditching the whole idea of an allowance and replacing it with a commission. Why? Simple. It creates a crystal clear link between work and money. When a kid earns $5 for washing the car, they learn one of life's most powerful lessons. Money comes from providing value. So once they've actually earned that cash, every single decision they make becomes a mini lesson in something called opportunity cost. It's a fancy term for a really simple idea. You can't have it all. If you buy that video game today, well, that money's gone. You can't use that same money to buy those sneakers you wanted tomorrow. It makes them stop and think. And this table right here, it's the perfect way to explain the difference between price and value. So look, that cheapo $10 toy, maybe they play with it once, then it breaks. That means it costs you $10 for one play. But that $50 bike, if they ride it 100 times, the cost for each ride is less than 50 cents. It's all about teaching them to look past the price tag and think about the long-term value. Okay, time for our final theme, the growth of money. This is where we really start planting the seeds for their future, shifting their focus from right now to the long game.
You want to know a real financial superpower? It's patience. The ability to wait for what you really want is what keeps adults out of debt. And hey, here's a brilliant little trick. Use a clear jar for savings, not one of those old-school piggy banks they can't see into. There's something powerful about visually watching that money stack up. It makes waiting feel so much more rewarding.
This next one is a game changer, and it's all about understanding which way money is flowing. Super simple. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. Think of an investment. A liability, that takes money out of your pocket, like a new toy that's always needing new batteries. The goal? Teach them to want more assets and fewer liabilities.
And that brings us to what might just be one of the most powerful forces in the financial universe. Albert Einstein supposedly called it the greatest mathematical discovery of all time, compound interest. We're talking about the magic of your money, making its own money all by itself. I mean, just take a look at this. This is the magic in action.
It shows how saving just a little bit, but doing it consistently, can literally explode over time. Yeah, it starts off slow, you might barely notice it, but give it a few decades, and that curve just shoots for the moon. That's your money doing all the heavy lifting for you.
And finally, and this one might be tough for some of us, you have to let them make mistakes. Look, letting your kid make a $4 mistake at age 8 when they blow their whole commission on cheap candy, that is an incredibly cheap lesson. Because when they feel that little sting of regret now, they're way less likely to make a $40,000 mistake when they're 23. Don't rescue them, guide them.
Whew! Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, right? From the big picture philosophy all the way down to the nuts and bolts of growth. So, let's tie this all together and figure out what to do next.
If you remember nothing else, remember these 4 things. 1. Money is a tool to build the life you want. 2. Every choice you make with money means you can't choose something else. 3. Value is almost always more important than a cheap price tag. And 4. Patience and consistency are what really build wealth over time. These are the conversations that change everything.
Look, the goal here isn't to dump all of this on your kid at once. That's just overwhelming. It's about picking one thing and just starting. So the real question I have for you is this. After seeing all this, what's the very first money lesson you're going to share?